I've had too many early days this week, and the live feed not going just pissed me off. But oh well, we tried. Trying new things, trying to make things better. That'll never happen again, folks. I'll never do anything new again. No, I'm gonna stick right here in 2021 and never, ever change. I don't know what I'm supposed to be into in 2021, but I'll figure that out.
I haven't changed in 15 years, so boogala boogala.
Oh God, it's Friday. Yay.
Yay.
Oh no, wait, I still have podcasts.
I actually do more work on the weekend between like podcasts and like, yeah, that's literally it. Podcasts, whether it's with you, we have our son, one guys will record on Sunday and I do them with Jace often and they're like 2 hours. And then I'm usually sometimes I have stories to catch up on. Yeah.
Yep. Well, hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to LRMornings. Today with Kyle and
Nick.
And like I said, it's Friday. I'm fucking tired. Had a bunch of early days.
Friday. It's Friday.
But, one of those early days is going to be very, very much worth it. Nick's fucking with his microphone. Because we got a guest coming on, a guest segment, since some people don't know how to read Cam, and I had to go it alone, but we got a special guest segment with Kevin Kraft of the Mad Scientist Party Hour podcast, available on Patreon and the Jason Ellis Show. So look for that Monday. Yeah, fun. Yay. Oh, Nick, man. I know what we are both going to watch immediately after we're done recording this. And we're not going to talk about it right now because we got another show you guys can listen to on Monday morning for all of that. But did you get a chance to hear or see any of the stuff Manny and I talked about yesterday with the Fantastic Four and the X-Men? We talked a little bit about
this morning's podcast or something.
Yesterday morning, yeah.
Yesterday mornings,
a little bit about fan castings and stuff like that. And I told him your Harry Potter idea. He wasn't down with it.
What was my Harry Potter idea again?
What wasn't it you that said Daniel Radcliffe as either Xavier or Doom, or was that someone else?
No, that wasn't me.
Okay.
I would cast Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine.
That's what it was. Okay, I got the character.
Yeah.
Anyways, he doesn't want Harry Potter involved with the X-Men.
So no Wolverine, I guess.
I honestly, we both talked about like the main team we would want to see first, and while he said Wolverine, he admitted that it didn't have to be like, the main character or anything like that, I think. And something's going on with my camera. That's weird.
They can't see us.
What is going on? Well, I'm just hoping it doesn't mess up the recording.
You've stepped into the past. You're pixelated in different colors.
Oh God!
You've been WandaVisioned. Did you see a red wall just pass through you like a second ago or something?
That would be awesome.
Now you're stuck in Modern Family.
I have never watched an episode of that. Wait, no.
Me neither.
Stop. I'm
sorry.
We were talking about the castings
X-Men.
and X-Men and Wolverine and we talked about both of us wanting Gambit, and I said I don't even want to see bone claws come out of a hand until I have a good on screen version of Gambit.
It's never gonna happen. That'll always be a cheesy character because of his accent.
Why does he have to be cheesy because of his accent?
I mean, he's always gonna be like played too cartoon. I don't know. It'll take a lot of finesse. They did a terrible job the first time, and then what's his face? I actually would have watched the Channing Tatum Gambit movie. That he was cast as Gambit for like 3 years until Disney bought Fox. In fact, that's like worse than New Mutants as far as the starts and stops. They kept almost, it's like, oh, we're going to shoot it next week. And it's like, Gambit loses writer or something like that. Like the only one that's been on board is Channing Tatum for like 3 years.
It's like
I would have watched that
Flash movie.
I don't think he'd have any Gambit-y thing about him. But he could maybe it'll be funny. Gambit's a wisecracker, right? He's not like one of the serious X-Men.
Yeah, there's
like a Peter Parker.
Canadian actor that plays.
He's from Nolans, though, right? Isn't that what he's famous about? Is having that deep like Southern accent?
Cajun.
Cajun accent.
There's a Canadian actor that played a Trinidadian, and I'm not sure what the proper phrasing is there, but
phrasing Lana
played a character with a Caribbean accent, right, which has similar tones to Cajun accents, but they speak differently. But the point is that I think that this guy could do it, could get there, and he was my pick. Dalmar Abuzide. I'm not sure how to correctly pronounce his name, but I think he would make it a very interesting Gambit. And
I take back the thing I said about him being too cheesy, because no, in the MCU they can do any fucking character they want and it will work. They've done a tree, they've done a raccoon, like, and same with like, we'll see if it works out or not. But then James Gunn's trying to do the same thing at DC with like Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I take back my earlier statement because of course Marvel's gonna, even if they like miss it slightly, it's gonna be the best version of Gambit you've seen besides the comic. Like it's gonna be better than even the animated TV show whenever Marvel does it, because yeah, it'll be sweet. It's not one of my favorites, but
sorry,
there's like 100 X-Men.
I just heard my dog go like crazy out the door. I
insulted Gambit in front of you and your Gambit loving dog too.
I got a question, Nick.
Yeah.
What was so disappointing about Nintendo this week?
Okay. Did you not see it?
I want you to tell a story, Nick. What was so disappointing, or what's
I'll even set up the story and like bury the lead and stuff. Okay. So this week had the first Nintendo Direct since September 4th. 2020. Nintendo Direct used to be a weekly thing, you know, like it's like the Star Wars show where you just have some people who just work for the website who jump up every week and are like, whoa, I can't wait for Paper Mario. Shreds the guitar like a 90s. No, I haven't never seen it. I don't think it's that 90s. So we haven't heard from them in a long time, and they're gonna have a 50-minute announcement. On what day was that? Wednesday? Thursday? No, Wednesday.
Thursday. Wednesday.
No, it was Wednesday. Today's Friday. So I was like, everyone was getting excited. It's like, oh god, they did so much last year for Marvel's for Mario's 35th anniversary that they're gonna do the same for Zelda. Because Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary is this fucking year, and that's my favorite. So you're like, okay, what did they do for Mario? They gave him just like back in the day, there was the All-Star Collection. They gave him the 3D All-Star Collection. Right. So one cartridge for Switch or a digital file that has his Mario 64,
Sunshine,
and Galaxy 1. They skipped
Galaxy.
Galaxy 2 because they're just giving you the basics. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, at the very least, we're getting a Zelda game that has Ocarina. They'll probably skip Majora's Mask because they're probably going to do one a console. Princess, Twilight Princess, and
you said
Wind Waker
Skyward.
before that. Wind Waker would be in the middle.
Oh.
And then like they're doing this month with Super Mario 3D World, which came out on Wii U years ago. That's just now coming out HD this year. And I'm like, and then they'll release Skyward Sword digitally. And then we'll have that game. It will have that game. So you'll be able to play all the Zeldas in HD, even if they don't update the graphics, except for Majora, since you can't buy them on the Nintendo store like the old days. And then they'll probably release like a little Game & Watch. You know, they released an entire Mario Game & Watch thing where you can just play the first level, just all kinds of cool collectors and games, and we're gonna be so blessed. And then they made their announcements. There are some cool things coming up. There's basically a Fortnite type Star Wars game only for Switch and mobile. That's free to play. There's a Mario Golf. Has
That's coming back.
No,
cool.
it has a story mode now. It's
nice.
It is an RPG, and it has speed golf where you literally control
Take
your
that,
character
hole
and you
number
run.
6, you son of a bitch.
Speed run's even funnier mode because you literally, rather than just showing up at the golf course and starting to golf, you have control of the characters between each hole. So like you're running to like the next place your golf ball is, like, and Bowser's like chasing you. Looks fun, and some other announcements like that are fine. And for Zelda, they're like, oh, okay. But we were also expecting Breath of the Wild 2. Some news about it because it's been in development since Breath of the Wild, the first one.
They only showed that
last time they
one
talked
little
about it, they said
clip
we'll have
thing.
shit soon.
Yeah.
So before even the end, they do Zelda. It's not like the grand finale. They do Zelda and then they announce something else. But they're like, okay, first of all, we're not going to talk about Here's our news about Breath of the Wild 2. We will talk about it later in 2021.
Wow.
I was like, okay, so we're not even getting it in 2021.
No.
They're saying we might talk about it after E3 or like a Nintendo Direct in the fall. And it's like, and we will give you a Zelda HD remake of Skyward Sword, and that is all.
Oh.
But they're like, if you like that, then we actually have two Joy-Cons there. One looks like the shield, one looks like the sword.
Oh no.
And then they are doing an expansion pass to Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, which is a great game. But yeah, we got that instead of the Mario.
Wasn't the Wii controls and the forced usage of those controls like one of the biggest
Skyward Sword
complaints
disadvantages
for Skyward Sword?
Yes, you can use the joysticks, or you can play it for the first time with normal controller. Which is like even when I play normal controller, I never actually put them together. You know, the joysticks come with a free plastic thing to put together.
Right.
Because I love when I'm playing video games, just laying, like, being on my back and have my arms as far apart as I want. Because I don't have to like hunch over and use one controller. I can use them as one controller and just have like my arms across the couch. Yeah. But yeah, that's all Zelda fans got. That's all we got. I am gonna buy that HD game. And I am going to buy that expansion pack, and I am going to buy those Joy-Cons. But that's it's like they hate Zelda fans. Like, Mario may make them a lot of money, the most money. But I bet you Zelda's got them even higher ratings than Mario games. Like, you ask them, what's your favorite game of all time? It's usually Final Fantasy VII or Ocarina of Time. Sometimes people say Breath of the Wild instead.
Yeah, a lot of people. Absolutely. And
it's like Nintendo's like Marvel or Pixar, where it's like, you better not fuck up even one movie or one game. It's like they hold themselves, when it's them themselves and not them licensing something.
Yeah,
they hold themselves to high. They've licensed some bad games over the years, including Metroid, Samus Aran and Wario and stuff like that.
I loved watching videos on the Atari, I think it's a Jaguar, Zelda games. Oh God, so bad.
Oh,
or
I know
was
what
it
you're
the
talking
3DO
about,
or something like that. It's some
it was like
old
an animated
CD
like show almost looking game.
Yes, it was horrific.
It's CD something. Yeah, it was like a disc. That's some like weird system.
Yeah.
It wasn't theirs. Yeah, I think you said it was Atari, I think, right? Yeah, but it was like called the disc. I don't know, it was CD. I don't know.
Whatever it was.
It wasn't the
awful.
other CD mistake. I mean, that Nintendo made.
Nintendo
created Sony by pulling out of that project later.
That was divine intervention by the gaming gods. That was like Jules Verne and other science fiction writers smiling down on us when Nintendo was like, we single-handedly saved the Western market, so go fuck yourself, Sony. We'll do it our own way. And so,
I'll do this myself.
So I was just gonna say that.
Thank Mario and Nintendo. It's just Mario with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Excuse me. But Sony did that. They went and did it themselves. And at the end of the day, there's sat Sony, bloodied, but on the verge of victory when Nintendo thought they had it in the bag, and then they looked over and Sony had that PlayStation 2. I am PS2.
You know what? This is turning into, first I was going to say, this is just like the time, but I've never heard this actually happen. So I'm going to turn the metaphor of this into literally a movie that could star Will Ferrell and then, like, let's say Zac Efron.
Oh, God. Okay.
So this is the story of a man named Nintendo fucked around a little too much and accidentally had Spawn. And then he forgot about it, and when he came to meet the Spawn, it was far cooler than him.
Oh,
I mean, I'm a Nintendo person first, but Sony's definitely a cooler brand. Nintendo's retro and like a prestige studio almost.
Well, like,
it also depends what kind of game you like. You don't go Nintendo for online still.
Yeah,
that's not where you go.
Sega had, aimed themselves at the teenage young adult market. All of their stuff was aimed that way. But PlayStation kind of seemed to do really good at aiming at college kids and young kids together. They had
my friends all had a PlayStation and the demo disc, and I was like in elementary school still.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the kids, they liked things like Crash Bandicoot or Final Fantasy, Tony Hawk, things like that. While the college kids were, playing things like Gran Turismo, a lot of the other
Worms
games.
Everyone loves
eventually
Worms.
Like Tomb Raider and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was a great system. Like Nintendo's older systems, where it offered enough variety for everyone. It just kind of seemed there as the millennium was turning that Nintendo forgot to continue to grow at least a little bit with their core audience, and instead tried the same thing at the next generation, 10, 15 years after it worked in the 80s. It wasn't the smartest plan. They suffered, and look, they got their Wii and DS and all that.
But got their Wii. I mean, you can't discount Nintendo.
No,
they are come and go every generation. Like, one generation they're just off. Like GameCube, loved the system. They just didn't have it that time because of the games, and it was basically
It was what I liked about it is it had better graphics than the original Xbox and the original PlayStation 2. But then it got dwarfed by the next system, considering Wii didn't even update the graphics from GameCube. Instead, Wii was like, hey, you can play video games differently. Look at us. We're weird. We're Nintendo. And people went for that.
Yeah, they did.
Wii U, they're like, look at us. We're weird. We're Nintendo. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? And then, but the Wii U, the Switch would not exist without the Wii U because that was the idea of a screen.
Yeah.
That it was like, oh, you can play it on the big screen or you can play it portably for up to 10 feet.
Yeah. Dear God.
In the Arkham game, to be fair, I owned Arkham City on it for a while, though I obviously beat it on a PlayStation 3, not a fucking Nintendo. His arm thing, his thing, you'd always look at your arm to talk to Alfred or look at your life and stuff. That was on the screen of the Wii U, which seems silly, but it's like, it's like having and the Zelda game worked that way too. It got a Wind Waker games. HD. Yeah. You handle all your bags and stuff down here.
Yeah. I mean,
just like the DS. Yeah.
There's stuff like
so I thought that would flop too. The DS and the 3DS.
Yeah.
Those are both huge. I was like, no one wants a system with 2 screens, god damn it. And no one does touch screen yet. And then that was like one of their biggest systems ever is the DS family.
Especially after the DS XL.
Yeah. Well, that's when they expanded into like, and they haven't had to move on because like the Switch is a portable system, but it's not, and they're still selling the shit out of the DSs and the Switch Lites, which are still like $250 or something.
Dumb idea to me. Why would you do that?
I know a lot of people who bought those because they couldn't find normal Switches or because they were cheaper. But I'm like, no, I almost never play my Switch portably. Partially because I'm playing Civ 6, which looks really bad when it's on it doesn't look bad on a screen too small, but it hurts my eyes.
Yeah, I bet.
But because otherwise, if I was playing action games, I would do the opposite of what I do now. Now, I watch TV on the laptop, play Switch on my TV, like, streaming on the laptop. If I was playing like an action game, like Zelda or Mario or something, I'd obviously play that portable and watch a movie on the TV. I can play video games in bed now that are TV quality, but I don't because now I'm an adult and I go to sleep. I only go in my room to sleep.
Speaking of playing games in bed, when I was
sexy
young.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Game Boy was about jerk off to that Game Boy every night.
At one when when the Gulf War was going to kick off, we were living in Germany, and my dad sent us back home. We eventually ended up out in California at Fort Ord in Monterey. Well, I guess technically Seaside or Marina. Yeah, Monterey's like 25 minutes from there. Anyway, Fort Ord is where we ended up at. Crap.
Talk about playing video games in bed.
Thank you.
I know what you're talking about. I want to hear the story.
I had to share a bedroom with my sister for like four months. So my parents bought us a cheap aluminum frame bunk bed set until we got on base housing. But I kept that bunk bed set and eventually like put walls around it, and I had my TV at the foot and kind of like walled it off. So it was like an encapsulated entertainment stand for myself, and I had my Super Nintendo plugged into it and shit like that, and it's kind of cool.
My parents would not let me have a TV in my room.
No.
Even when I moved back home briefly between NBC and they're like, you're an adult, you can move out, but if you want to stay here for free for a few months, there's no TV in your room. That's because of noise later. As a kid, they were just like, no, never gonna happen. We're not gonna. In fact, I had 30 minutes of screen time a week in high school of a day, and I could add it up. I'm like, I didn't watch anything today except for when you guys were still at work, so I'm saving it up for
like 3 hours of Nintendo this weekend or whatever. I did have Game Boy, and I often abused that in my room when I shouldn't have been playing it.
Like literally, here's the setup. My dad used to read me and my sister books. Like this is middle school all the way up through high school. Like first book he ever read was The Hobbit. No, we were in elementary school still. And then we read all the Lord of the Rings, and we read all the Harry Potters. My mom stepped in for the Harry Potters because we read them in the car when we'd never fly. We'd always drive to like Canada or East Coast or whatever the fuck, West Coast.
It should be stated that LRMornings can neither confirm nor deny the existence of Canada. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
No, it's a 51st state. We all know it's there.
That's what. Oh, that's too much of it. Okay, I'll give the tangent. My water polo coach worked for a big accounting firm, and they literally counted Canada as a 51st state in their books.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm going back to the family trips. So my dad would be reading The Hobbit, and I'd be around in the hallway between my sister's room, and I'd be around the corner behind my bed, like where there's enough space for a dresser, and then you're behind the bed, pretending to listen and playing my little Game Boy, and then yelling stuff like "shoot," and like my dad being like, "What's going on in there?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just really into the book."
Yeah,
I've thrown that Game Boy, but yeah, because it's not like
if you were to play it in bed when other people are around. It's very much like the classic scene in movies where someone's reading a comic book and they have the flashlight in the hand, because Game Boys weren't backlit.
No.
Later, so even playing it in the car, like multiple birthdays and Christmases, I got new lights that hooked onto the Game Boy and went over the top because they broke so often. But yeah, kids got it so nice these days. They can play a fucking Switch in their car while their parents drive them. The parents are listening to podcasts and don't give a shit about the kids either. My day, it was Game Boy until the sun went down.
No, it was Game Boy until the 4 AA batteries died, until you got to the pocket and the color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you could change.
You had to hope you had a game that
Change batteries back then. I would carry so much AA batteries.
Yeah.
Save often, my friend, if possible. If it's like Pokemon, like save every fucking time. That's the other thing.
It's their 25th anniversary. I think Nintendo's giving them all the attention. There weren't any announcements about Pokemon, but like it's gonna be like a Post Malone concert about Pokemon digital.
Maybe.
Well, that is happening.
Oh, what was serious? Oh,
yes.
God.
So it's like they haven't announced anything game wise. But by the way, I can't. Okay, they haven't released anything game wise, but it's like it's like a big celebration thing. It's like what about Zelda and the real character who's in charge of it, Link? Like, what about those two?
Don't know what to say, man.
I'm not really angry about it. I'm just playing that on TV. But I wish there was more. It would be nice.
It is kind of disheartening because you are right, dude. Fucking the Legend of Zelda series. Ooh, excuse me. Is massive, and yeah, you're right. It's more niche than Mario is
slightly,
but it's less so than Final Fantasy. It's
less so than Metroid. Like Zelda's one of the, I would say, top 5 most known franchises.
Yeah, but is it
still, even with the new stuff like Halo and Grand Theft Auto and Fortnite? Yeah. Zelda will at least be top 10.
Yeah,
you can only hold 10 video game titles in your brain.
But you're right. It's a big deal. So why not a big celebration unless they intend to celebrate an individual game bigger when it what would Ocarina is about to be third. What? No way, it's about
far younger than 30. It was 96, 97.
Oh my God, it's gonna be
about 25. As old as Final Fantasy VII. Yeah,
Jesus,
maybe even earlier. It's an old game. Like, to be fair, I used to want them to remake it, and they graphically updated it for 3DS. but now it's like you can't remake it. Breath of the Wild has changed the game completely, like almost the same way.
Open world thing.
Yeah, well, even just the stuff they add to it. That's like Ocarina of Time would have to use the same map, but somehow carry the script from the. It's like there is no going back to Ocarina of Time now, even with like the best graphics. It's just too small. It just feels tiny.
No,
and outdated at this point.
I don't look. I wouldn't necessarily want them to do this. But they could take the Final Fantasy VII remake approach and rebuild Ocarina from the ground up using, well, it's the Switch, so Unreal 4, Unreal 3.
Even use the same engine as Breath of the Wild and just change the graphics enough that it's less, because they're kind of like they've never been as serious graphics since Ocarina of Time. Like he's looked real, but he's always had, even Adult Link now has a hint of cell shading to him or cartooniness to him. Whereas like the original GameCube disc that like came with it and it had like a trial for Mario Kart and then just a bunch of just a bunch of trailers. There's a trailer for like, it's like, here's a mashup of the games we expect. And one of them is a GameCube quality Legend of Zelda, which they did, I guess. Twilight Princess is that. But since then, Breath of the Wild is absolutely the best Zelda game of all time. But we're kind of back in that cartoony zone, similar to Skyward Sword, or and to be fair, when as a fan of Ocarina, you're like, fuck the way Wind Waker looks, and you play it, and you're like, God damn, that's one of the best Zelda games ever. I have that HD on Wii U.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've beaten Ocarina and Majora's Mask. I love Majora's Mask. I wish they would fucking redo that.
Well,
and
it does. It is redone with better
talking,
graphics. Yeah, they would have to port it.
Yeah,
it won't get new graphics again. No. But 3DS does update it, just like Ocarina.
Smooths it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Updates.
Well,
they
actually add. Yeah,
but it's not like a full.
No, it's not a remake. It's a
remake. It's
a slight remaster.
It's not even a full remaster, man.
They increased the graphics to the power of the 3DS, which is the big difference than N64. But it's more than what they're doing with Skyward Sword HD, which is just making it clear.
Right. Things like draw distance and textures, like I said, we're all touched up, updated for sure.
There's also more. They take more of the original artwork from the game, and not just touching up the textures, but like they're able to, since they have more computing power, they actually add more detail to the characters.
I mean, there really wasn't a story per se in the first game. It was
the very
first
one.
Yeah, it's the princess is gone. Take this. It's dangerous to go alone. Collect all the pieces of the Triforce, and ta-da! You beat the bad guy. So that's one of those problems with games like that is you can't reach back that far. Square Enix has with Final Fantasy, though. They've reached back to the original because there's an actual story there, and they've done things like add 3D chibi style character graphics for a mobile version of the game or something like that. And I don't know. I mean,
you could go back to the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, but I don't touch Link's.
No. Here's what I'm saying. You do with it. You do the same thing with it that you did with
Link's Awakening. No,
Link's Awakening.
No, Link to the Past.
Make them look slightly 3D. Update the models, and the gameplay is exactly the same. Does not change to the map.
It's called A Link Between Worlds, and it was
a whole different
amazing.
game. I was never a fan of A Link Between Worlds.
Amazing.
Excuse me.
You're just a terrible
like Barney
person.
Rubble over here.
I'm gonna have to start abusing you like I did Jammer.
No, I think the last portable ones I played Seasons and Ages.
Yes, both Oracle.
Because you need to complete the both to fight Ganondorf. So I did that.
I never completed the 3DS ones because they were strange with the touchscreen controllers, with like the train one.
Oh, I didn't know.
The other one,
I wasn't a Wind Waker fan, and I know
I'm a huge Wind Waker fan, though.
I know that it was my PC Master Race type brain when it came out. You know what that is, right? Right? No, everybody knows we're talking computer gaming, right? It's a meme. Look it up. The PC Master Race thing. Anyway,
I knew PC. Oh, why? What else would it be?
What?
What else would it be?
I don't know. You looked at me.
I immediately thought computer.
You looked at me
PC
weird.
is a PC.
So.
Oh no. I don't know what you're gonna say next.
Okay.
PC is obviously personal computer.
Yeah, I had that
politically correct Master Race, I guess.
I had that mindset, graphics, what your puny thing looks all cartoon, I had seen the I had for forever liked my computer games, but there were still things from the console age before I got into PC gaming that I still like to play and still like to have consoles for, and Legend of Zelda series is one of those. And so as a PC gamer, is seeing the what is possible, and that Nintendo one day could get to where computers were in the 2000s or whatever, but it was Wind Waker was disappointing for me visually.
How deep did you get into it though?
I
thought
just,
it was the first
like, couple hours. That's it.
That is, I was thinking about while you were talking and how hard it was going to defend it or not defend it.
No, I don't. It does. I need to play it. I know better now.
I have a good statement though.
What's that?
Ocarina of Time's still my favorite of all of them, followed by Breath of the Wild, and I love Link to the Past. Wind Waker has my favorite story, and it's carried out the most cinematically out of all those games. There's a very cinematic story involving Link, his sister, Ganondorf, and who. And yet it seems the most, maybe it's most cinematic because the cinematics match it's just well written. It has one of the most gruesome endings to a video game I've ever seen, especially for one but since there's no blood, you're like, okay, Nintendo pulled that off with an E for everyone. But that game's storytelling is insane compared to even the most recent one.
It's on the dark timeline where the hero of time fails, right? Yeah. So it makes sense.
But you look at it though, and you're like me when I was in high school, early high school for me. It would have been freshman year, and I'm like, fuck it. Well, that's when it came out. It was freshman year for me, and I was like, fuck it. Why are we getting this stupid anime thing? And I played it, and even I love that. Some people don't like it, but even the water, the sailing between places instead of a big a Epona ride was really, really cool part about it.
Yeah, I need to get a copy on Wii U or Switch.
That's what I'm talking about. If they had released that fucking package for you. Actually, yeah. No, you do have a Wii U though?
Yeah.
Oh, and then get the HD version. It's the only way you're going to get it in HD these days.
Yeah, whatever. I just
it's fun. You probably get it dirt cheap. I don't really know if they even they might pay you to take a Wii U game off their hands. That's how horrifyingly failed the Wii U did. My God.
Oh man. We got it for Lucas, and the ability for him to play on the screen, play all the Lego games on the screen, and without taking up the TV in the living room. So, because he is not quite ready for TV in his room. We're not against him having one. It's just he's not ready, but it's okay.
Well, my generation, all of my friends had TV in a certain place in their house, and it was always the same place. The video game TV is always in the basement. And when I learned about radon gas in high school, I went home. I was like, Mom, if me and all my friends die of radon gas, which is something that builds up in basements, it's because I had to play Super Nintendo in my basement, and PlayStation in Tony's basement, and N64 in Andrew and Chris's basement, and more Super Nintendo at Steve's basement. Those are all real locations and real people and the actual systems I would play at each of those places. Wow. But it's like, yeah, you go to a friend's house, it's like, and I don't know, your friend's in the basement. It's like, all right.
Crazy. I didn't have
so weird that you didn't.
I
assumed my experience. I know in California they don't have basements, so that part would be different in the Californian story. But
a lot of military housing doesn't necessarily have it doesn't necessarily have what's the word basements. That's not their thing.
Is there at least a second TV in most of your friends' room growing up where it's like you don't get to play on the main one, you go over to that fucking thing.
Everyone is the military is the largest, most diverse employer in the country. Recruiting from all 50 states, all of the territories, all of the
Puerto Rico,
Native American nations, and foreign countries, legitimate legal residents and stuff like that. We in school it's different for us. I don't know. We have a lot of things that keep us together as our army brats. Like, we don't get the divisions of like jock versus geeky shit. Like, you'll have like captain of the wrestling team plays in the school band at the same time. So it's a different environment, and I had friends that were similar to you, really restrictive parents, and I had friends that were more like mine, that were like, keep your grades up, don't get brought home by the cops, and don't get caught. That was my parents' mentality. If I wasn't in trouble and I was passing school, I was good to go. They didn't need to know. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I would love for my son to be able to get a TV and system in his room, because I remember how great it was to be able to have friends over and go to my room and play on,
hell yeah,
my system without having to deal with my sister, my parents, my
younger sister or older sister.
Yeah, younger.
There's a great trick with that I did with my younger sister and two of my friends' younger sisters.
Mm-hmm.
When they were young enough, I don't know how close yours is to your age.
3 years.
Mine's 4. Mine's 3.5, and so are 4, and so are all my friends. When they're young enough, like if you're playing 64, just hand them like a Super Nintendo controller, and they think they're playing too. That worked for years, more than months. Like, there's a big age group there and if you have a third 64 controller, all the better.
Yeah.
They don't know. It's not because they're chicks, it's because they're younger siblings.
Yeah, we did that with Lucas when he was real young.
I want to play. Here you go, kid.
Yep.
He thinks he's playing for hours.
You're doing so good, bud.
Man, you're the best in Mario Kart.
And then fucking last year 6 years old, beats Portal 1, and then like the next morning it's like 11 o'clock and he's like, oh, I beat Portal 2. What? Hey, hazy kid, man.
They're better than us. They will destroy us.
Why do
you reproduce? We must destroy them before they destroy us. Kyle, it's a replacement
Yeah,
deal.
but
That's
there's
the whole point of having a kid. You're making your own replacement and training them.
yeah.
Kidding.
There's
That's true.
there is a there's something odd about the current elementary group, like elementary school group, like my son's age, 6, 7, 8 years old, where the amount of tech that they have, and the type of technology they have, bringing it kind of back to yours and our discussion on Tuesday about that stagnation.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't recognize that at all. Like, there is no stagnation of technology growth for him. It's just normal. And if it doesn't change, it'll continue to be normal. And for me, that's not normal, because I saw all these changes come to a not to a halt, but just a steady refinement of the technologies that we have. Look at batteries, for example. When's the last great massive innovation in batteries? Lithium ion.
Yeah.
Also, that's going back to earlier. Sometimes I prefer the old battery system, because I'm like, now we have, built-in batteries for everything. Because I'm like, shit, I want to play Switch on my TV, but both my Joy-Cons are dead. So I literally can't do it until they take the time to charge. I can't put a new battery in there. I don't have a second pair. Like, I literally have to wait to play it on my TV. I could pull it out and play it like that, and the system would power them.
Yeah.
But there's no cheat now that you can't just switch out batteries real quick.
Well, I mean, like you said, other than having an additional
set.
An additional control whole set.
And when I get my Zelda set of Joy-Cons, I'll finally have a second set.
Bringing it back to the Legend of Zelda, bringing it back to that long discussed, long debated, long rumored to be in various levels of development. Do you actually want them to do a Zelda series or movie?
No, absolutely not. Remember, isn't the rumor that Netflix was going full ahead until it was leaked to sites like ours, and they were like, nope.
I don't know.
I thought I read that story where like it was all planned until like some source leaked it, and then
why would
they? And then Nintendo was like, nope, we changed our mind. We changed our mind.
It was Nintendo,
not Netflix. It was Nintendo who was like,
I could see that.
You hear the other Nintendo story?
What's that?
About who some company tried to buy them. I can't remember who it was.
Oh yeah,
who was that?
I don't remember.
It was Apple or something, right? And they laughed them out of the room.
Out of the room.
That basically is Nintendo, right there.
And they
that goes back to Zelda, like you're talking about.
Yeah, they said that the story's a little bit overblown.
Obviously,
it wasn't like an outright
like a fairy tale.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
It was kind of like, you can leave now.
Yeah, it wasn't like
Thank you for the stupid idea.
Yeah, it wasn't like Apple had to go very far. Nintendo's offices were right across from theirs, and they just walked over and were hey, yada yada. But it makes for an interesting.
It's a good
story.
Old wives' tale.
Yeah.
Fairy tale.
Well, because it is true. They wanted to. Hey, we'll buy you. No, no.
So, what was the Zelda thing we were on right before that? Before I just railed us completely.
I was. You were explaining or going to explain why you don't want a series or movie.
It doesn't work if Link talks, and a movie doesn't work if the main character doesn't talk in this genre. I don't want him to be like some silent samurai, which you could technically do with Link, but Link can't talk. That's the Nintendo CD or whatever game is Link talking. Because I actually spent the 3 months leading up to my screenwriting adaptation class, where you're allowed to adapt anything. But in the end, I decided to adapt something no one owned, like a free story, so I could actually have it. I was for 3 months. I'm like, I'm definitely doing Ocarina of Time. I just need to figure out how to crack it. There is no way to crack that movie, but that story. It's not the story. It's just you can't have Link talk, or it spoils everything. And it's very hard to have it's like you can't make up for him not talking with this fairy talking for him, or like it just doesn't work. So and they were talking live action series, not animated series, which is also an important thing. It's like it doesn't work. Like just make up some new fantasy franchise. Don't call this shit The Legend of Zelda, because this shit ain't gonna be The Legend of Zelda.
I don't know if I necessarily agree that Link can't speak.
It's like his main trait, though. I mean, it's because the audience wants to see themselves through Link, which is why they even let you name yourself until Breath of the Wild. Now you're just Link.
Yeah.
But
and I'm one of those people that watching Final Fantasy change from being able to name your characters to not being able to name your characters, because now we're doing voice acting.
Yeah, which is exactly why they did it in Zelda.
And we were fine with it. Everyone liked it. Everyone loved it. And people still see themselves in the characters.
I guess I don't know, because like there is an Illumination Mario movie coming. I'm not afraid to hear Mario give complete sentences more than "It's me, Mario." It won't be too weird to see Mario talking to Luigi and Wario and Princess Peach.
Yeah.
In the same way, it just even Samus. They keep saying like, well, I mean, they keep talking about maybe a Metroid movie, and Boss Logic keeps putting up pictures of Brie Larson. Basically is Samus as Captain Marvel, and it's like, yeah, she can talk too, but Link doesn't talk. You're playing like a mute character every time.
He doesn't have to say hey a lot.
He doesn't say anything, and the problem with the show, okay, it could definitely work if you wrote him the right way. I just think no matter how you write it, you're gonna piss off 90% of fans, because it's like, that's not how I pictured him talking, because he's never even talked more than like a
well, yeah. I mean,
grunts. He's not like, it's me, Mario.
Yeah,
like, save me, Mario. It's nothing there, just a blank slate.
You're right. You can't please everyone, and you'll have.
I just think it'd be a disaster.
You'll have some group of people that will hate it no matter what. They're just like Alan Moore.
Well, that would be the thing. I would go in hoping to love it, and maybe I would, but I feel like it's like old Star Wars or new Star Wars, where it's like, I hope I like it as much as the other, or like in this case, I hope I like it as much as the games, and it's like, this isn't fucking my Link. Like, it's back to that deal where it's like, this isn't my Luke. Like, my Link don't talk. My Link has very little personality. He doesn't hit on chickens or whatever the fuck the dialogue would be about. Like, they're going to make him like a wisecracker, or like they're going to, by adding character to Link, you change who he is in the games you've played. Like, maybe he'll be some like sexy, swarmy, like knight, or maybe he's like a timid fellow. Like, those all seem wrong. I don't want to know. Don't you kind of get that with him? Where it's like, do you want a wisecracking Link? Do you want a timid Link? Do you want a...
I see him...
Even Sonic makes more sense, which I need to watch that movie this weekend. It's free now.
Link is Captain Hyrule, dude. He's Captain America. Just
shit.
An elf in an imaginary world.
Well, he's not even. It's a Hyrulean. All the Hyruleans have a demirs.
He's fairy folk, is what I was trying to say. From our
he's certainly a fairy.
Adoptive fairy folk from Ocarina. You know?
Well, he thinks he is. Yeah, that's why he's adopted. He's
adoptive.
Like, yeah. Why am I growling at? The tree's like, see, the tree needs to be a character. Totally,
that's fine.
Like, Ocarina would be great.
Why does it have to be Ocarina? Why can't it just? Yeah,
you could do an original story, but I just think Ocarina still. Wind Waker has the best storytelling, but Ocarina has the best base story.
Okay.
Boy is tricked into gathering MacGuffins, thinking he's saving the world, which causes the world to end. And he's preserved until he can come back as a real hero after the world has been in fucking disarray, like decimated for like a decade. That is a great plot. Like, and like knowing Ganondorf and then knowing like Ganondorf is one of my favorite villains of all time. Comic books, movies, video games, whatever. Top 5 villain for me. Not Ganon, but Ganondorf.
What if Nintendo did a multi-platform Zelda universe, and you have a series to start off with that is a basic Legend of Zelda Save the Princess story to kind of introduce the idea, but start introducing...
Which actually is not what Ocarina is. It's still a female empowerment story because she's like Leia.
Yeah.
Take care of myself, Link. Fuck off.
You go from that series and you split off into those different timelines, and we could explore the different storylines through live action series, animation, and film. Feature length.
I'm gonna regret saying this because, like I said, Zelda isn't just my favorite video game franchise. It's one of my favorite forms of media of all time. I don't think this translates to other media. I think this exists best as it is, and I think those stories are there if you're willing to sit through like a 50-hour game. Yeah, all those stories are right there. And then like I have like the guides where it's like, this is the guide to the story and the characters, and this is the guide to the art. Like I have 2 of the 3 hardbound guides they'd released back around the Skyward Sword era. And yeah, I just think that not every medium can be adjusted to another medium, and sometimes people try too hard to shoehorn one form of storytelling into another, whether it's a book that's too long to be a movie, or a video game that just works better as a video game than a TV show. I think not everything is able to exist in any medium. And you could probably do a Legend of Zelda book, but you do it from Zelda's point of view.
Yeah.
Because she can think and talk.
I am not necessarily against what you're saying, just kind of, poking, playing devil's advocate and stuff.
If it came out, there's not 100% chance I'd watch it because it looks. Yeah. I would totally watch it. I don't care how bad it even looks.
I do think there is a potential there, but you would have to be bold and embrace either
you'd have to make him talk.
Well, yeah,
and that's where you have to be bold and be like, which direction do we take this character?
Right. And
which is what I couldn't crack in college.
That's why I'm to me the question becomes, do you try to do one specific story, Ocarina, or which I don't think works by itself.
You could probably do any story.
Or do you try to do something a little bit more drastic and bigger? And I honestly think in this case, you could go big and be successful. But if you tried to be too restrained, too what's the word? Cautious, I don't think it works at all.
I just figured out exactly how it works, and it's easy.
What's that?
Make it like a show that's been accused of being like a video game with too many fetch quests. Another show where a character barely speaks. I'm talking about The Legend of Zelda, The Mandalorian. If you do Zelda like The Mandalorian, it works. He doesn't talk. He's a wise old warrior. Not old, but like he just does like a sudden samurai move. And he doesn't say anything. Kind of like I said, I didn't want to see earlier. And then, yeah, that's how you, Netflix show, that's how you, or Disney Plus, that's how you explain why. That's the only way you can explain a video game, because Zelda is a quest game.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Mario 64, even Banjo-Kazooie. It's like, go, and you, that's why I was writing my feature script. I'm like, obviously I'm not going to write it about him finding 3 stones to get the Master Sword, then 5 more stones to defeat Ganon.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to break it down, but it works as let whoever wrote The Mandalorian be in charge of The Legend of Zelda. Favreau's even perfect. Like, Dave Filoni wouldn't get it, but Favreau would probably make it, I don't know, Iron Man type tone, but The Mandalorian for a Zelda game. And you have Tingle, that little weird fucker who always shows up with balloons.
You're going way.
We just cracked the formula. The formula is Mandalorian.
I don't think
Quest.
that was cracked. I think crack is involved. No, I'm joking.
Would be if you will join me on this endeavor, there will be lots of crack. Join me on this journey.
LRM nor any of its affiliates condone the use of illegal substances.
Except for Nick. He's like, do all the I'm just kidding. Do what fits you. I have a rule that my friend taught me. Do whatever drug you want to do, but handle your own shit, ladies and gentlemen. As long as you can handle your own shit and not be a bother to anyone, do any drug.
Oh, God.
I don't even do any drug like that. It's just, the point is, as long as you don't bother someone else, like, take everything, man. That's been Nick's moment.
It's like, it's going back to like what my parents said to me. Still get
as long
caught.
as you got good grades.
Caught. Hey, look, no, what's that saying? No body, no crime. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sure, Nick. No, guys, thank you so much for listening this week. It's been a blast. Can't wait to share with you guys the guest spot with Kevin Kraft on Monday. And we are gonna try to do live again. But we have another live test coming up today. Hey, later on, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time. The Cantina with should be myself, Cam as normal, and Shockey. Will be talking some Star Wars topics. Obviously Star Wars topics on the Cantina. So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, following us on Twitter at LRM_exclusive, and subscribe to our podcast network anywhere you get podcasts from. Nick, tell people a little bit about where they can find you on the webs.
I'm at Geeky Nick Dahl on the Twitter. Please join us later today for a very special episode of Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. Not really. There's nothing special about it. That's coming out today. And then Kyle and I, of course, will be talking about WandaVision episode 7 on lucky number 7 on Monday. This Monday. Like, as always, as I tease on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast today, the conversation will absolutely be longer than the actual content we watch.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched WandaVision yet, but you're listening to this, don't do any more internet until you've watched WandaVision. Twitter is thick with spoilers. I don't hop on my phone at all until I've watched WandaVision.
Yeah.
So you've already screwed up and watched WandaVision and then listen to other LRM stuff.
Yeah. I will say this. I like the fact that even though it's a meme, you and I have legitimately not been pointing at everyone and saying the M word. We've mentioned the M word a lot, but we haven't
say it a lot.
We haven't put it in everyone. You know, we've only mentioned the M word potentially being 2 people, and one we think maybe not, but we don't know now because there was that weird cryptic tweet. But you guys should be watching WandaVision. Anyways, before we go down the road and start a whole new subject, you guys can find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone, that's the number 1 on Instagram. Check out tomorrow's episode of the Anime-Versal Review Podcast, doing Dr. Stone Wars episode 2 with Christine and Brian from Pulp Mythos on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Enjoy your caffeine.